Welcome to 2Cents FC. I'm your host, Amobi Okugo, with my guy, L. Each week, we'll be discussing topics from around the soccer world, and I'll be giving my thoughts from the perspective of a pro soccer player. This week is really cool. We'll be talking about lower league soccer in America, including Oakland Roots, move to USL Championship, equity crowdfunding campaigns, and a lot more. We'll also discuss some key transfer window signings, and we'll also give some match predictions from some top soccer matches this week. We're joined by two special guests. Lo and behold, my Nigerian brother, my Chelsea supporter, Jide Saba, president, and Evan Raimist, GM and director of operations for the Maryland Bobcats. Let's get right into it. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
So how did you guys get started? L brought you guys to me in terms of like, yo, we need to get these guys on. We need to get these guys on. They're changing the game. And I didn't know much about you guys. So give us some backstory. How did you guys get Maryland Bobcats started and all that?
Yeah,
Evan,
Jay,
you want me to go?
Yeah, Jay, this is all you.
Okay. So, I mean, this is a project that started over 10 years ago. I mean, I went to UMBC, so I played for the club soccer down there. And we were also pretty cool with most of the actual Retrievers men's team players as well. So after we graduated, before we graduated, we've already had this team. Then it was called Christos Baptist FC. We've gone through so many name changes. Then we entered into the Maryland Majors because we found out that's a Sunday league game, league. So we started playing there. Then after graduating in 2009, we continued to play even after colleges and things like that. We continued to play in the Maryland Majors as well. So, but it's been around for over 10 years. Huh?
Is that like men's league? Men's league?
Yeah, pretty much it's men's league in Baltimore area. Okay. So we've been playing. It's just a way for, I and a couple of my friends have also graduated to just keep fit and continue to play. And while we also, continue our friendship and things like that. So that's how it started. And it's a good way for us to keep fit and still continue to meet each other, once in a while. So we had games every Sunday and all that kind of stuff. But, what really pushed us was, it's funny now what's going on within the society. But people now would tell us that, did you guys see the future one way or the other? But it was back in, we just noticed that majority of our talented players, especially people of color, would go play for all these top clubs around the DMV. But then when those top-notch black players, they will be the best players on the team. When they make names for those teams, they're nowhere to be found. Yeah. E.g. going further into Open Cups and things like that. There was a particular game where we carried a lot of, my team back then, we went to go support because of these three black brothers on the team. But leading up to the Open Cup game, their name was nowhere to be found. But they were the reason why the team made it to play in that, Open Cup round. They went further. So after that, we started thinking, we're like, you know what? Something is not right here. What is the purpose of having our brothers, play for these teams? And at the end of the day, their faces are nowhere to be seen. Nobody knows who they are. But they know the clubs, and and they know the clubs, and the clubs decide what face they want to put on the map.
And they're ballers too.
And they're ballers. They were literally the best players on these teams.
Quick question: you went to UMBC, so you know Levy then?
Levy's like my little brother.
See, that's how small the soccer world is. So me and Levy go way back. And you mentioned the ballers and getting notoriety for your play. Were you guys associated with that one team way back when they played DC and you guys almost beat them? Back in the Open Cup a couple 6-7 years ago?
We're not with that team.
But there's
we were never affiliated with that team, but we do have some of the players that played in the Open Cup that are now with us. So you have Levy, you have Elton. Who else? I think that's it. Mamadou played with us at some point. Mamadou played with us at some point as well. So there's some two players that played on that team that are playing with us now, and they were practically the best players on that team. Like 3 of them: Mamadou, Levy, and Elton. Literally, those were the 3 best players. And then they had Phil Sanders in goal, who was, amazing, keeping as well. But when it comes to actually the gameplay of that team, those 3 players that I mentioned were basically the best. They were basically that team.
Yeah.
So I mean, we sat down, we talked about it. We're like, you know what? We need to work hard to make sure this is something we try to put an end to, and just show that when we come together, we're very powerful. Why can't it be, a minority group that brings pro soccer to Maryland? Why can't it be us? That can be something we can do, and that's why we started planning over 10 years and then started putting things together. But, thank God now, we're able to get those things going right now.
Yeah. So do you have anything to say and add on to that? How did you get involved?
Yeah, so I have not been involved for all 10 years. I think I've been involved for a little over 3 years now. And weirdly enough, it was just kind of luck of the draw that I ended up with this team, this club. So Maryland Majors, the league, they have like a free agent page. Like if you're a player and you want to play, like, you can put your name in. I think I just said like, hey, like I graduated from college. I played in college. I want to keep playing. And Jay just happened to be the first guy to send me an email back. And so I showed up to a game, and like from there, it's now been 3.5 years, and I'm still here. And kind of from like the first moment that I got there, that first game, never met any of these guys. I didn't have the history that a lot of the players had with Jay, with each other, with even that kind of area. It was like no team I'd been on. The second I got there, guys were, hopeful and excited to have a new player, and it was more of a family than a team. And being able to just kind of jump into that right away, not having ever met any of these in person, it was great.
No, that's amazing. Like, and it touches on like why soccer is a beautiful game. You have people from all different backgrounds, all different ethnicities, all different cultures. But when you get on the field, it's like a family. So it's really crazy for you guys, especially in the DMV area. A lot of different people. You guys are able to connect with them. So what is it like? What are some of the challenges that come with starting and running a lower league team?
I mean, the first thing I would say is being able to have people that believe. It was kind of hard to be able to, have people actually trust that you're just not one of those people that is just trying to promise them like several like things that is not true. Because I think within our community, a lot of people have said so many things to these players, and they will believe it. And then down the line, they'll realize they're lying. So that was the most difficult part. And I know, we were creating a lot of buzz because we started picking up players that normally would sign for USL Championship. Like, for example, we have K Banja, who left the Pittsburgh Riverhound because I had a conversation with him. And I told him, hey, you don't have to go there. You can come here and we'll take care of you. And he stayed. We have Sami Kansai.
What does take care look like?
Huh?
What does take care look like?
Oh, what did taking care of K look like?
Yeah.
Okay, so within our club, we don't just let me put it this way: we don't just look at players and then say, "Hey, come and play for us." Mm-hmm. The best way for you to be able to get the best out of a player, we ask them, "Okay, what do you do for a living? Do you have a stable job? Do you have a stable income?" Right? And if they don't, we try to link them up with a job. We try to get them a job, and again, I'm just going to be honest. Most of our players right now, also within the team, they get paid to play on the lower league. They get paid because you can't get the best out of these players if you don't try to help them out, if you don't try to support them. I mean, how can you get someone to come and play soccer if they don't even know how they're going to feed themselves tomorrow?
That's true.
That kind of thing. So we go deep inside, say, hey, Do you have a job? Are you stable? If you don't, we'll link you up to make sure you're financially stable. Then we talk soccer. So that's how we operate. So overall, it's very difficult for them to believe. But as soon as they started seeing that we're more than just let's play soccer around, because a lot of these teams, they play after playing, they win games and they go home. That's just what it is. They don't have that connection. But it took someone like myself, the technical directors, Evan, to say, hey, we're more than, a club. This is a family environment. Let's talk to each other. Let's find out, how can we help you? How can we make sure you're good on your end so that when you come to the field, you really, truly feel like this is a family environment? And, that's what we try to build. But as soon as they started realizing that, hey, it's not just, hey, we want to use you for your talent, they open right up. It's not perfect. We have a lot, people that will still go once in a while, not follow the rules, but we take care of them, but we still tell them you have to follow rules and regulations, but you're still part of the family. So I think creating that family culture first was the toughest thing for us to be able to do. But as soon as players started buying it and they realized that, okay, this is bigger than me, it was easy. Yeah. It was pretty much easy for them to just come in, gel, and things like that. Now, we tell them all the time, we want to make sure you know your worth, so you don't just settle for anything. So if a USL Championship team comes for you, how much are they paying you? Is it really worth it? If it's not worth it, then you don't have to leave. But if they're paying you good money, I'll buy a plane ticket and send you over there. So that's how we kind of operate, and that's how we function. So I think that was the difficult part, being able to build that family environment and for them to believe in the project. But once we got that down, now it's a lot easier for us to be able to attract the best players around the DMV, because all the players are telling them. And then, again, it's just easier that way. But being able to get their trust and them buying in, that was the most difficult part.
Oh, that's cool. And then can you guys talk about your roles and responsibilities within the team, running a franchise? Because, I watched the Tottenham series. I'm just watching the Leeds documentary now. So it's really interesting, like the backroom stuff when it comes to, the willing and dealing, the checks and balances between president, in your role, Jide, and Evan in your role, like as general manager and director of operations. So can you guys dive into that as you guys are running a fully fledged franchise?
Evan,
I think that especially over the course of the last year, things have changed a lot. What I would consider front office staff, we maybe have 6 people. So, we don't have tons and tons of people. And that's, to kind of go off the last question too, I think that's one of the challenges, if you want to be, of operating a team at this level. You have to be willing to wear a lot of hats, right? You have to be willing to do a lot of stuff and hustle and grind and make sure that what needs to get done gets done. I think we're lucky that the team that Jay has together, everyone is really energized and excited for this project, because we know that it's not just me, it's not just the players, it's not just the coach, it's we're building this so that 5, 10, 20 years down the line is still around. But as far as what I do, maybe my number one goal has been getting Jay farther back from the day-to-day so he can take a break. But no, I think one of my favorite stories is that, I don't know, maybe a year and a couple months ago, we had a game. Team was on the field, getting ready, and a new player that had only been at 1 or 2 training sessions that was at the game, and he saw this guy picking up cones. He had a ball bag over his shoulder, and he asked our head coach. He goes, "Hey, who is that?" And he goes, "Oh, that's that owner, Jay." And so it's stuff like that where, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what your role is, right? It's you see stuff that needs to get done, but for me and my role, it's kind of all the front office, what you would consider typical front office stuff, right? So it's communicating with leagues, whether that's UPSL, whether it's NISA, EPSL, making sure press releases and contacts and all that stuff goes out. It's the social media side, which is a big deal, especially now with how much attention you can get from that. But what me and Jay always like to say is it's not just that, right? You can tweet as much as you want, you can put out as many pictures, videos, whatever, but if you're not performing on the field, what is all of that for, right? So it's me. I take my job as let's make the team look as good as they can off the field, so that our guys on the field can just take care of their jobs.
That's what it's all about. And I know we got some questions from Twitter. El, you want to take those?
Yep. So Yogi, who also runs the River 93 podcast, he had a couple of questions for you guys. So how's your first year competing in NISA been?
Jay?
Oh, we actually haven't kicked off in NISA yet. We played in the NISA Independence Cup. We're open. We kick off in NISA come fall of next year, hopefully. That's our hope. But everything still boils down to NISA itself. So we haven't kicked off in NISA yet. But he must have seen us play against maybe New York Cosmos and then thinking we're playing in it. But no, we haven't kicked off yet in NISA. We played in the Independence Cup, though.
Okay. They also asked, what are some challenges of running an independent club during COVID?
I would say, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few things, right? So one, because of our, we're an independent, smaller club, right? It's got to make every dollar, every hour count. So we want to make sure that, like Jay said earlier, that our players were still good, right? That was kind of first and foremost for us is making sure our players were still fine and safe and healthy. But from a club side, it was making sure that as soon as we were able to play and as soon as we were able to get back on the field, that we could, whether that meant getting games against teams we know would be safe or making sure that we have fields that we know are going to be open and available, whether that's making sure we are putting out some type of content that gives people confidence that we're here for the long haul and that we continue to grow and move. But I think the biggest challenge was for me was not having the guys on the field, but still making the club move forward, right? And I actually think that COVID, not that we wanted this to happen, but it gave us time to really nail down some internal stuff. We launched a youth club, and that was kind of not born out of COVID, but it gave us the time to really spend time and do that out. And it also gave us time to kind of nail down actual roles for people versus just kind of more like a get it done if it needs to get done. We kind of were able to give people projects and kind of build the club that way. And we kind of went through the whole NISA process during COVID too. And what typically takes maybe 4 to 6 months, we did in about 2.5. So we got. Not that COVID was a good thing at all, but it really gave us time to get the off the field stuff done.
Yeah, definitely. Yogi also has another question, and kind of to your point, Evan, when you guys started a youth club, he asked, what are some of the challenges of getting more people of color into the game of soccer, and which ways are you guys trying to improve that?
Evan, can I say that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I think community events is very key. Making your presence known, actually going out there, having a conversation with people. Example, what we do on a yearly basis, which again, there's some successful clubs within the DMV, even some that have made a name for themselves, but they've never done any of these things. And that would make you get a lot of hate, but you also get people that will love you as well. I would say we have a community cup. The Community Cup is pretty much bringing a bunch of predominantly minority soccer teams together. We bring them together once every year. We provide food, drinks. It's a weekend tournament, and we give monetary prizes to the first and second and runner-up. And we give them trophies and things like that. We're open. That's a way we continue to develop relationship within the community, because for kids to be able to come into your program, they have to trust you, and they have to feel like the club is indeed about the community. And, I think that's one of the areas like you have to, channel into. And that's what we are trying to do. There'll be more community events coming up as we go along, come later this year or early next year, even before we kick off in NISA, because we really want to make sure we're showing ourselves out there to our own community for them to come out and say, hey, you can be part of this project. We can be just as organized.
Yep. I think that's what for me makes this project so exciting, and why I love being a part of it, is because it really is more than just playing soccer, which sure we have to do that because that's what we do. But being able to put our players, kind of like the flip side of what Jay was saying here, to be able to put these guys on posters, in videos, have them talk, have them out in the community, and have them see, like, one, these guys are from guys, two, they can ball, and three, they want to make their community a better place. That's what makes me so excited and happy to be part of it, and why I've Jay to continue to let me keep doing this is it really is more than a club, and we don't care where you're from, what you are, we don't care, right? If you're a good person, you can play on the field, you're gonna have a spot. So I think that's a part of it, is like that, is making sure that our community knows, look, we're here, we're for you, right? We don't see them as they're coming for us. It's we're for them. We're the team that's coming from the community and towns that are around us.
Dope. That's very dope. Speaking of community, Yogi also asked if you guys will be working with any local HBCUs like Morgan State, Eastern Shore, etc., to increase the growth of soccer both on the field and in front office positions.
So that's Sorry, Jay. Go ahead.
So the goal is to bring every minority group together. If it means reaching out and making sure we're building a relationship with all these HBCU schools, definitely. That's what we want to do. It's all about, again, minority representation, Black representation. We're a Black-owned organization, and we're right now the only Black outdoor professional soccer team out there in the state of Maryland. I mean, let that sink in. We're Black-owned, and we're bringing pro soccer to the state of Maryland. It's not easy, and we want to make sure the entire Black community knows about this, and we are getting them involved in it, wherever you may be, whoever you may be. So that's our goal. We're going to definitely reach out and build a relationship with every Black-owned businesses, every Black schools, Black organizations, because we need to come together to show that we're more powerful being together than not being together.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. And Jason wanted to know about the difficulties of getting coaching licenses in this country, and how that plays a role in the lack of Black coaches that we have.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of stock taken in what license you have, and to a point, I think it's true, right? It means you will continue to improve and learn and stuff, and that's great. But I think there's also maybe too much of an importance placed on that, and also on top of that, the cost, right? Like for I'm 25, and right, so for a young person that's starting their career, isn't making a ton of money, it's really, really hard to get these licensing classes. Not even to mention that once you get higher, then you got to take time off of work, which means you could potentially make less money because you have to travel. Both of our coaches and our technical directors are both black. Look, like I would put them against any coaches, kind of in NISA, UPSL. And I think that part of the reason they've gotten to where they are is because we have threw them in and said, look, you're either going to do well or not. And they do well, right? They continue to win. They continue to get better in their own way. But I definitely think that the kind of cost barriers, the time barriers, the hardships that you have to go through to get these different, DC, is definitely blocking people from continuing to get that. And look at Germany, for example. They have, I just read a stat. It was like, they have 200,000 coaches on like a C, what would equate to a C. And, up until that point, I think it cost them like $500 total. And so, that's more people that get to know the game, more people that get experience. And, I think it definitely makes it hard for people to kind of get that pace.
Yeah, so another thing that I would touch on that is also the opportunity. Like what he said, the technical director and the two coaches, like going down to UPSL, like literally they will be studying games, preparing and things like that, formations and all that kind of stuff. For every UPSL game we had for nationals, they didn't go to sleep until like 2-3 a.m. the next morning working on game formations. But another thing is our technical director has been in a game for over 20-something years. He's got his licenses, but he's never been given the opportunity to be a technical director. Wherever he's gone, he's been told to work underneath people that are not even as experienced as he is. So it's not even about the licenses. So you have to have the right sets of people who are going to give that opportunity to us as individuals. And that's what, I mean, it's tough. So you might have the license all you want, but if there is still lack of opportunity for our people when it comes to the sport, they will still look the other way. And again, our technical director, I will put him against anyone. Like, as that man is talented, he's good, but he's never been given that opportunity of a technical director role. So yes, you can have the licenses, but are they really going to be willing to give that opportunity to us? So that's another area.
Yep.
So what's the way that you think you can, I guess, create more opportunities beyond? So say you're creating opportunities on this level, on the NISA independent level. What is this, like tier 2 or 3 on the pyramid? 3.
Yep.
How do you get those opportunities up to guys, on tier 2 or even tier 1? Like how can you help them leverage their experience here and elevate them up to the higher levels?
So to be honest with you, the top leagues, MLS, USL League One, and NISA, it depends on the organization. You don't necessarily have to go to USL Championship or MLS, right? We can take that money. If I have $12 million, I wouldn't pay USL Championship to go to USL Championship. What would I do? I'll build my community. I'll build a stadium for my community, and I'll bring those players that are playing in MLS and playing in USL Championship and will remain in NISA, because they're actually trying to put a pro relegation system within the United States. They're trying to build a system that is occurring in Europe or South America. So it's no longer pay for play. It's actually, what money do you have, and use that to build your club and build your community. So that's what I would do. That's what I would try to sell to them. Hey, come to this league. We can use $12 million and actually build our community, put up a beautiful stadium. Let them see the culture and representation of Black people, minority people, and let's have fun. That's what I would do. I'm not going to use that money and pay USL Championship or USL League One or MLS, $300 and something million, because it's the name. That's what it is. But when you watch about in the United States, the best soccer is actually played on amateur level. No disrespect. Amateur level plays the best soccer. I watch MLS sometimes. It's boring to watch. That's not soccer. But when you go and watch some of these amateur games, like, they're actually fun to see. They're fun to see. Like, you can count. You would enjoy yourself. We went to Virginia United a couple of years ago. I mean, the team, the fans were like surrounded. They surrounded the entire stadium. We were so scared to come out. It was a beautiful soccer. It's a Hispanic team versus an African team. I mean, 2 double overtime settled in PK. It was amazing to watch. But I watch MLS championship finals. It's boring. I can watch Crystal Palace play another lower team in the EPL, and you would sit down and enjoy football. But the best soccer is not played at that top level. I'm sorry. I'll take the money and I'll use it where we are right now, and I'll actually use it to build a culture and build something where we presently are, not move up.
That's a great point that you made about, the community and culture around soccer when it comes to, amateur level, men's league, NISA. Because I remember growing up when I was playing men's league, and you would think it was like Sunday in England, the way people are intense, fighting within the fans. And I'm like 15, 16, 17 years old, just playing to try to get competition. But no, like, it means a lot, and it carries over. So I understand what you're saying about, taking that 12 million and doing more with it in the sense of getting more for your buck. And, myself and Elle, we've been on podcasts. We've talked about it on our podcast about promotion relegation. Whether it's going to happen or not, it remains to be seen. But I definitely think it is something that should definitely be considered because of the opportunities that are being closed when there is no promotion relegation. So it's a topic that a lot of people have opinions about, but you can see that there's a lot more benefits than cons.
Yep, sure.
Yeah, I love the way you think, and like I talked to Amobi about this as well. Like, not being so focused on reaching MLS, but building your infrastructure where you are at the level you are. Like, if you look at these other clubs, like over in England or whatever, like even on the lower levels, they have their own stadium. Mm-hmm. They have, their own fan culture, everything. They're a self-sufficient entity. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not worried. They're not playing at a high school. They have their own building, their own facilities. Yep. And so I think if every lower level team focused on building that, I think we'll have a stronger, like, overall soccer system in this country.
Yep. 100%. If there's 1,000 fans that will come, sure, not 30,000, but it's 1,000 people that are from that town, that are passionate, that are, probably most of their players going to come from that town. They have something to look to and aspire to. I think there should be, a soccer stadium, whatever you want to call it, in every, not even just every town, every town, should have a high school. There should be a soccer team. I think that's how you start to grow that pro-rel, that, love of the game, heart of the game stuff.
Yeah, if you have 350 million, we can go to MLS. We don't have to stay in NISA, right? Why would we do that? We can, so that's what I'm saying. Like, think about it. The new expansion teams they have haven't even played soccer yet. They haven't, but they're playing MLS though, because they have the money. They have the money to go out. So, like, that's not how soccer is built, at least from where I come from as well. We play like soccer almost every day. So that's not how it's built. If you want the best system, you have to create the best opportunity for people to be able to grow and the best opportunity for clubs to be able to grow. Look at England. You can build a club up from Type 5 and they can make it all the way up, to the top level without necessarily becoming bankrupt. But the system here is like you have to pay to play. That's just the nature of it. If you want to join any league, amateur level, you have to pay to play. That's just the truth about it. Even amateur. There's some amateur leagues that are so expensive we look at an amateur league, and that's actually what pushed us to NISA. I'm not going to mention names because I don't want no trouble. We looked at an amateur league, and the money we paid to join that amateur league, it's cool. It's ridiculous, right? We did. But then the standards of that amateur league is on the level of almost a little bit less than the third tie of the of the U.S. soccer pyramid. Why would we pay all that money for game day operation to play top amateur when we can take our people to an actual professional league? It doesn't make sense. So at that point, we're like, we just go for it.
Yep, that's actually a perfect segue. As you know, fellow NISA leaguers, Oakland Roots recently announced that they'll be joining USL Championship after acquiring the territory rights to USL Eastbay. So the team who will be going from an independent model into a franchise system, they'll begin play in 2021. Jide, I guess I already got your thoughts on that. So Evan, kind of give me your thoughts on not only the Roots and their move, but
sure,
like independent leagues versus moving into like a franchise system.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I love what the Roots are doing. Their branding, their connection to their city. I would almost go as far to say is like that's unmatched in soccer in this country, in terms of how kind of quickly they've been able to really connect and give back. But as much as I would have loved to play them and gone out there and have them come out here, I think that I'm a fan of independent clubs doing their thing, kind of going where they see fit, right? And NISA is a perfect fit for that. However, I'm disappointed that we didn't get to play them. However, I do think that, look, if I go and tell people, look, I want clubs to be able to think for themselves, I want clubs to be able to do what they think is best for their club. I can't get mad then when a club, changes one league to another. Whether that's fits with what we think and what I think, I wouldn't make that switch. But I think from that thinking of independence is important. Sure, you can be upset that they switched leagues. You can be bummed that you don't get to play them. But as a front office person, right, I have to, in my mind, that they think that's the best thing for their club and their player and their fans, right? They think that move makes the most sense for their goals. Because I personally don't think you can have hands, right? You can't say, okay, clubs can think for themselves and then you want to be independent, but then mad and say they shouldn't move to a league. That being said, I am very high on NISA and what they're trying to do in terms of really giving teams the autonomy to kind of do what they want to do, and not kind of being like you say, franchise, but being a club. I think that's really important. What we're trying to do, right? We're a club that happens to play in a league. We're not a franchise of that league. I wish them the best. And again, they're going to do what's best, what they think is best for their club. But I wish we could have played them a couple times. But hopefully we'll see them sometime in an open up or something. But it sucks because I do think as a club, as a brand, they're a really strong brand. They've done fantastic things. So to see them jump ship, that's I'm not happy. But again, I have to think that they did what I think is best for their club.
Yeah. I'm not gonna cape for them because I'm from the Bay Area. But do you think they saw an opportunity to kind of fill a gap? With the Warriors moving over to San Francisco, the Raiders moving to Las Vegas, like there's no real major sports outside of like maybe the A's, and then The Earthquakes are like 40 minutes south.
Yep.
So you think they saw like that opportunity, that market open up to, all right, let's elevate this a little bit more and, try and build in that space, build in that gap?
100%. Again, I think sure they did the numbers on, on tickets and fans and how many people, and right, I'm sure they did all that. And I'm sure they said, look, there's a golden chance here to kind of get to that next level. Again, I can't fault them, right? They're getting into now the second tier of soccer in this country. Whether I think that you should be able to pay for that or have to win your way up, I think we know where I stand. I think you have to win, right? But for them, I'm sure they did that analysis of, look, yeah, just like you said, they're filling this sports gap that now kind of exists in that area, and if they're able to fill that, great. But I'm sure that was kind of the reasoning of this kind of quick jump, at least part of it, because they did see they could fill a gap. Again, I wish in this country you could win and go up, but I'm sure they filled that gap.
Yeah, I'm a little bit biased too. I'm from NorCal, born in Hayward. I know a couple guys within the organization, so I feel like whether they stayed or they jumped up, they're going to have the support either way because they do a great job of branding and with the community. But it's interesting because, like El said, there's no team outside of the A's and then San Jose Earthquakes who they don't do really a great job of, getting into that region. It's a key moment for them, and I think that's why they made that decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about these new equity crowdfunding campaigns that we're seeing a lot of independent clubs hold. Of course, to grow it requires money, right?
Sure.
So we've seen 3 NISA teams so far go through this process of raising money for their clubs through equity crowdfunding: Chattanooga FC, Detroit City FC, and the New Jersey Teamsters FC. So what are you guys' thoughts on this model, and do you see it as a viable model to grow your club or to grow clubs?
All right. Yeah, I mean, Jay, you.
One, I think it's a good idea. Chattanooga and Detroit, amazing teams. What did they have before they went on that route? Right? They were winners. They were champions. They produced on the field. They produced off the field. They were all-around great team that most lower league teams can look up to, to build up and things like that. It's a good model. It's a good idea. But if you don't have that level of success on the field, and if you're a new club coming up and you don't have wins underneath your belt, I don't know how you go out and expect people to invest in your club. I mean, we're looking, that's something we will talk about down the line and try to see how we can get our community involved in it. But we're not going to say our club is worth $5 million, $10 million. We're not going to do that because you have to be, truthful, and facts has to follow, because that can either make you or break you when you go on that path. I think it's a great idea, but we would more so look at Detroit and Chattanooga and possibly reach out to them for some advice. I think we're building our club up in a way whereby it's been recognized nationally now, especially with the UPSL National Championship. And we're well known as well based on that. So we have to factor all that in. Then we will make a decision. But, we're not going to make a decision if we feel like we're not worth anything. And creating something like that would just make us look really, really bad. That's the problem. It's a very tricky situation. Again, we're known now, we're well known. We're creating something on and off the field. we're winning games, we have something to put out there, but we're not going to do it if we feel like it's not something that the fans are going to buy into. And we don't want to look like we're trying to take people's money. We want to make sure we're giving them something that is really worth them buying into. You know, I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Like, you know, not just say, hey, let's take your money, but, you know, down the line, we don't know if it's worth anything. So we would like to go based on what Detroit did, what Chattanooga did down the line. Because, again, they built their brand up. They were winners on and off the field. So it was easy for the fans to buy into the project because they saw the future. But we believe, you know, we are attracting a lot of attention now in Maryland. We believe with our youth program, our worth is only becoming higher. And with where we're going to be kicking off our NISA out of is an historic venue located right in the middle of Maryland. We think we would get there when the time comes. For fact.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Evan.
I was gonna say, I totally agree. I think, you know, the German model that 50 plus ownership, you know, I'm not saying we go forward, but I love it. That being said, just like Jay said, like, you know, I think time and for it. And if you look at the Chattanooga and Detroit City, yeah, they had 8, 10, 12 years of history, both on the field, but also building that support in the community, but also off of the field, right? And that those two clubs in particular are ones that built themselves up the right way, built themselves up in a way that they could continue to be a club, and also obviously connect with you know their fans and their towns. It's not easy to raise whatever $800,000, $900,000, 1.2 mil. It's not easy to do that, to have that many people want to buy into what you're trying to build. Again, in my opinion, we are not close to being ready for that. I hope soon that we are, but like Jay said, it comes to there's a time and a place, right? There's a time and a place where we as a club can look, if you give X, we're going to be able to provide you with Y, right? We're going to be able to provide some proof or some that you're going to get back, rather than kind of like, here's my money, I'm going to go get that because I need money kind of. So I love that idea. You know, there's definitely a time and place.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is I actually looked into that situation a little bit, and I get what you're saying, Jay. I get what you're saying. So definitely. So speaking of that, like what is the Maryland Bobcats growth strategy? Like, what's your future outlook? Like, what's your grand vision?
I mean, so for me, you know, we've thrown around the idea of our own field, stadium. You know, this is, you know, and again, this is not going to be a 1-year thing. Like, this is a long-term plan, right? And I think that where we're at right now and what we're trying to do in terms of, one, continue to get better on the field, right? We added a couple new players I think are going to be able to immediately come in and play, compete for them. Two, which has kind of been a theme of this talk, is making sure that we get the community more and more involved, right? Again, I don't want people to see us as our players come in, they play 5 hours, and they go home. I want them to be seen, you know, in the community, helping, coaching, you know, making this a true community-based team. But, you know, I have high hopes for our first season in Nice that will hopefully kickstart a lot down the line. But, you know, I'd love to see our own stadium and field and a place we can call our own. And, you know, that's not going to be easy. It's not going to be cheap. But, you know, I think with the people we have involved and the plans we have, that a realistic plan. And again, it's just going to take work and doing what needs to get done in order to make that happen.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely excited to see you guys' growth. And if you ever do take on some investment, hit me up. I'm first in line. I want to be first in line to pour into the club. I'm already,
There you go.
trying to do it economically, trying to support there. But
so down the line is, again, getting the community involved, and most importantly, creating a culture for our own minority community. We've talked about having a place to call our home. We've talked about ideas, having, if it's diversity, having our minority people, come in there feeling proud, excited that, this is something they want to be part of as well. And then continue to build good and, strong and successful men as well within the team that will go back within the community and, share the experience and things like that. So we're definitely in this for the long run, not just, building something quick and then, closing shop. That's not what our goal is.
No, I really respect you guys' honesty, in sharing, more details around like the behind the scenes when it comes to you guys' organization. You don't get that, unless you're watching some of these shows and docuseries, and even then they don't give you the full spectrum. So, even when it comes to like the financial equity crowdfunding, like your thoughts on that, promotion relegation, it's good insight. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, happy to.
All right, cool. Now, so let's jump into one of our favorite segments of the show. It's called No Card, Yellow Card, Red Card. So this is the rapid fire segment of the show where I'll run off a couple of topics, and you guys will kind of give us your ratings on those topics based using the card system or the soccer card system. So obviously, no card is I agree with it. I'm all for this idea, etc. Yellow card is, it's a foul, so like I can go either way. I may have some issue with it, but it's not enough for me to, totally condemn it or whatever. And then red card obviously is absolutely disagree. I hate this idea, or something like that. So it's the absolute negative, right? So I'm gonna jump right in. No card, yellow card, red card. Gareth Bale returning to Tottenham.
Yellow.
I would say red. I would say red. It's not gonna do well with Mourinho.
Whoa, no, Mourinho's the one that wanted it from before, from Real Madrid days. He's the one that was begging for that signing.
He's lost his touch. He's no longer the special one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to give it a yellow card because depending on what side you're looking at it from, Real Madrid, they're happy. So they needed to get rid of Bale. From Tottenham's side, it goes against their model because there's really no resale value, but it's a 1 year loan. So it's not really, they're not really committing anything long term. But with Bale there, it's taken away from some of the guys that they have in place, Son, I can't even pronounce his name, the new boy, the Dutch boy,
Bergwijn.
Yeah. So if he takes away from them, the guys that are producing for the club that are going to be there for a while and that they can resell, but it's only for a year and they got a lot of matches, so squad depth. I'm going to give it a yellow card.
Okay. Next one. No card, yellow card, red card. DeAndre Yedlin possibly returning to MLS.
Yellow card again.
Red card. Red card. Red card. I mean, he did well in the EPL. Why will he want to come back?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a red card. It's too early for him to come back. And on both sides, because I think LA is the rumored team to get him. LA, they got a good young right back already. Let him develop. Let him play that role and sell him. You don't need, Yedlin is a great player, but you don't need him to take, someone that's doing the job And then from the Jalen standpoint, it's like, you just got there. Like, what do you want to come back for? I know you might miss home, all that, but nah, yeah, do your thing out there, especially because if you're trying to stay on the national team, you got some young boys that are gunning. You know, I got Dest. Yeah, he's rumored to go to Barca. So yeah, like what do you want from your career at this standpoint? And it's easy.
Yeah, I think it too. And I think, you know, as a country, we should want our players playing against the best players. And so, you know, if he comes back, you know, I think, although the way we pick teams, it might not hurt his chances with the men's team, but I think we have to want players playing in the best league. So, you know, him come, but on the flip side, if he can get healthy and get into a groove here, you know, it could help. So that's why I'm kind of half and half.
Nah, yeah, I'm going red card.
I just think he wants to get out of the Northeast, to be honest. Like, what's up there in Newcastle?
Yeah.
I mean, but you can go to a good championship side, you know, somewhere a little bit more in the mix, you know, if you want to. I don't think his time in Europe is over. I think he still possibly has some opportunities out there. And you got a lot of good defenders coming up through the ranks, like Anthony Robinson, stuff, people like that who are like on the way up. He also mentioned that he might quit the national team for like social justice reasons. So it may not even be an issue. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I remember him doing damage to Chelsea a couple of years ago. I mean, he's got pace for days that fit the EPL. He can still play in the EPL. It just doesn't have to stay at Newcastle. I think there are teams that will pick him up. Like you said.
There's other leagues too. I know there's rumors.
Yeah. Germany can pick him up because he's got pace. So I don't know. He's only going to affect his development if he comes back here. That's my honest opinion. But he's a pretty good player. He should stay there.
Yeah, he can come and play for us though.
That's true.
Okay, next one. No card, yellow card, red card. Chelsea eyeing a £44 million transfer for Declan Rice.
I say red card. They need to sign some defenders first.
I would say no card. He upgrades the back line, and he's a former Chelsea Youth Academy player too. So he's got the blue blood in him. I think that's no card. I think that's a great investment, and he's still pretty young. Mason Mount is his best friend. He fits in perfectly into Lampard's squad. No card.
Yeah, no card. Bring him home. You know, it's just bad that they have to pay so much because he was a youth product of Chelsea. If it stops Chelsea from getting a goalie, then I would say red card, but they're still getting the goalie. I know Elle has something to say about where is this money coming from, because this has probably been like the most expensive transfer window for Chelsea since
200 mil already.
Since
06?
Still spending.
Since the special one came. So we need even though I'm not English, but we need young English talent, you know, for Chelsea. You got to develop your own country, your own squad. So yeah.
I mean, we're getting Mendy for cheap, so that's a good thing. We're getting Mendy for cheap, so, and he's a pretty good goalie from Rennes. So, and plus sale of Eden Hazard, Morata, and a couple of other sales. I mean, we didn't spend last year. Please let us breathe. Leave us alone.
Yeah,
All right, I'll let y'all live now. All right, last one. No card, yellow card, red card. French Football Federation president states that racism doesn't exist in football, while denying to penalize teams for racist and homophobic behavior in stadiums.
Red card.
Red card.
It's gotta be.
Yeah, red card with 2-game suspension. This guy's you can tell he's out of touch, because for him to say there's none at all when there's been clear examples, not only in the most recent week, but throughout the history of soccer, not only in his federation, but other federations as well and other leagues. Red card.
Yes. Sometimes I think that these guys in those leagues and people in power They either don't think about what they're saying, they don't hear themselves talk, or they like you said, are in touch with what's actually going on. If that's the code, then I don't know what is.
Exactly.
All right, cool. So real quick, we'll do some match predictions for Premier League for this coming weekend. So we'll just do maybe like the top 6 teams, and then we'll throw Everton in there since we got Evan with us.
So what you're saying is the top 16.
All right, so this Saturday we have Everton versus West Brom. Who do we think wins that one?
Everton, hands down.
Yeah,
31.
Everton. Yeah, Everton. I think James Rodriguez might get his first, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next up, Man U versus Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace gives Man U some trouble.
I'll say a tie. Tie.
Yeah, tie for me too.
Okay. What'd you say, Evan?
I say Man U.
Okay. Then we have Arsenal, West Ham. Obviously, Arsenal. I'll let y'all.
That's a tricky one. West Ham lost last week. You don't know what to get with them. London Derby. Arsenal wins, but it's a close game.
Yeah, it's gonna be closer than it is. West Ham tie.
Yeah, I'm gonna say tie too. There's gonna be a late goal. I don't know who's gonna score to tie it. There's gonna be a late goal, 80th minute or later.
Nah, we informed, baby. We informed. That's a dub all the way. All right, Tottenham, Southampton.
I think Tottenham has to win, right? If they don't, whew.
Yeah, Mourinho's already sweating bullets. They're gonna bounce back. They have to bounce back. So
I'll say tie. I'll say tie because you just don't know. I mean, they didn't look good last week. They didn't look good. Huh?
In the first half, they looked good, and then
they did, but even Everton had more chances than they did, even in the first half. So they really didn't look that good. You know, they really did. I would say tie.
Okay.
And there's Peacock though. I hate watching games from that app.
They're trying to force us to that direction. We have to pay for that.
Yeah.
It was NBC Gold, and then they changed it to Peacock. I'm like, I paid for NBC Gold already. What's going on?
I had to subscribe to Peacock now, and my gold going away.
Oh my god.
Leicester, Burnley. So I hear Burnley is the new, cold night in Stoke. So
Yeah,
it could be a tough one.
I'm gonna say Leicester.
Burnley finished well last season. I expect them to take that momentum forward. I'll say tie. Honestly, I'll say tie.
Yeah, Burnley at home, and especially early in the season when they can this is where you can nick off some points. I got Burnley winning.
Okay. Chelsea, Liverpool.
Woo! That's
a match. Chelsea's winning for sure. They're here to let everyone know, we made these moves for a reason. We coming.
I think Chelsea has a lot to prove in this game, especially with the way Klopp has been disrespectful. He's talking about them buying players. He bought players. He's been buying players since he's been at Liverpool. So I think they have a lot to prove, and I think Lampard would want to prove something. I think Chelsea would win. I think Chelsea might win. And plus, they didn't look really that good last weekend. And what they've worked on during our season, which you can see on Monday, was the defensive shape. They look better defensively, minus the goalkeeper. I honestly see a team that doesn't play that well, but still won 3-1. That shows that they have a lot of track going forward. I think Werner has a lot to prove too. It's going to be a shocker this weekend. I think Chelsea would win.
Yeah, Chelsea matches up against them well. Conte's back. Defense is looking strong. Yeah, we're good. I'm confident.
All right, we say Evan. Did you already say
Liverpool. As much as I say that, I think they come out with a win.
Are you a true Everton fan if you even say Liverpool?
I know, right?
I know.
Arsenal would be up 4-0 in the 90th minute, and I'll still say they're going to give up that lead.
Yeah, you should be saying, Evan, you should be saying Liverpool burn Liverpool, but you're supporting them.
No,
All right, so
I think so.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah. And the last one, prime time, we got Man City versus Wolves.
City.
Let's say Wolves.
City. City's coming with vengeance this season. City.
Yeah, City, but I do have Raul Jimenez goal. That means top form, probably the best CONCACAF player outside of Davies right now. So,
yeah.
All right, so we touched on this last week, but we'll ask you too. Who do you think wins the league this year?
City.
Yep.
That's what I said.
City. Yep.
City. Oh man. Okay. Thiago's about to sign for Liverpool though.
Yep.
City wins, but it's close.
Yeah. It's gonna be closer, I think, but
yeah, City wins.
I think City's
gonna
come back this season.
Yeah. What did I say last? I said City as well, right? But that was because if Messi was coming.
Yeah.
I'm Chelsea. I'm going to Chelsea. We're doing it.
Now you did say Chelsea. You said Chelsea. But then said if Messi comes, City.
You know who we should have bought? We should have picked up Martinez from Arsenal.
Emmy, yeah.
We should have picked up the goalie Arsenal just sold to Aston Villa from Arsenal.
Hey, we would have sold him to y'all too to kind of cash out splashing around. 40 mil. 40 mil. So we can go get OR and Partey.
He's too loyal to Arsenal. He might just let some goals and kind of how you don't know about that.
So that's it.
Okay, yeah. So thank you guys so much for joining the podcast, the show actually. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so we're on everything. We're on Twitter and Instagram as @MD Bobcats FC, Facebook Maryland Bobcats FC, YouTube Maryland Bobcats FC, everywhere.
Perfect. Yeah, that's definitely going to be in the show notes. That's our show for this week. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. It helps us get discovered. Follow us on the socials @2Cents FC on all platforms. Check us out, our merch at 2centsports.shop. It helps support the show. We got the scarves, we got the pins, we got all types of gear. And tweet us your comments on the show, any topics you want me or Elle to discuss on the show. Thank you guys so much for sending in questions. Thank you guys so much for engaging. You know what it is, every Friday. Catch y'all later.
Yep. Grab that Maryland Bobcats merch too.
Thank you guys. Bye.
All right. Peace.
Peace.